Hello, my dear children. Children, in the class today, we will study Earth gravitational field. In this unit gravitation, we have already studied Newton's law of gravitation. We studied gravitational field intensity, we studied gravitational potential, and finally we studied gravitational potential energy. We have also summarized all the results in the form of a chart where we have written force, intensity, potential and potential energy. Well, all those results which we summarized, they were only for point masses. The force was between 2 point masses, intensity which was g m by r square, gravitational field intensity, that was due to point mass m. Potential was also due to point mass m, and potential energy was also of point masses or 4 point masses. So all the results which we have summarized in the last class, they all are exclusively used for point masses. And today we are going to study Earth gravitational field. Is our Earth a point mass? No. Our Earth is a solid sphere. So can we apply the same results for our Earth gravitational field? Absolutely not. Our Earth is a solid sphere. It is not a point mass. Therefore, we cannot apply the results of point masses for Earth gravitational field. But there is a very basic assumption which I am going to write here. Try to understand that. Well, that basic assumption is experimentally verified, mathematically verified. So what is that mathematically verified and experimentally verified fact or assumption? Well, this is a solid sphere. This is our Earth. It is a solid sphere. Its mass is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kilogram. 10 to the power 24 kilogram is the order of the mass of the planet. So the mass of our Earth is what? 6 into 10 to the power 24 kilogram. It's huge. Radius of Earth is what? 6,400 kilometer. Now for any solid sphere, the fact I was talking about, for any solid sphere or hollow sphere, whole mass of the solid sphere or hollow sphere can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass. Whole mass of a solid sphere, or the sphere may be hollow. So whole mass of a sphere can be assumed to lie as point mass at its center. This assumption is valid only for those points which are on the surface or outside the surface. So for the points which are on the surface of the sphere or outside the surface of a sphere, whole mass of the sphere can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass. And what is the basis of this assumption? The basis of this assumption is equivalent gravitational effect. And that is what is written here. Whole mass of a solid oblique hollow sphere. Whole mass of solid oblique hollow sphere can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass for any points over or outside the surface of the sphere. For equivalent gravitational effect. For equivalent gravitational effect. So if we have a point over the surface of a sphere or outside the surface of a sphere, whole mass of the Earth can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass for equivalent gravitational effect. What is the meaning of equivalent gravitational effect? Suppose there is a mass of say 100 kilogram over the surface of Earth. Earth of course is a solid sphere. So gravitational force acting over this 100 kilogram mass, gravitational force acting over this 100 kilogram mass is same as force acting over 2 point masses at a distance of 6,400 kilometer. This is mass. This is Earth 6. The mass of Earth is what? 6 10 to the power 24 kilogram. And this is another mass whose value is what? 100 kilogram. This is mass m2. or small m. So the force over any mass, say 100 kilogram mass, over the surface of earth will have the same value which would be obtained by finding out the force between the 2 point masses kept at 6,400 kilometers apart. If these 2 point masses, one is the mass of earth, another is the mass of the object, if they are kept 6,400 kilometers apart, the force between them is same as the force acting over the same object over the surface of earth. If we have this 100 kilogram mass say at 100 kilometers above the surface, again the force between this mass and this whole earth would be what? Would be force between 2 point masses. The force acting over this mass would be same as the force acting between 2 point masses. One is m, other is what? Small m, and the distance between them would be what? R plus this h. Not only I am explaining equivalent gravitational effect in terms of force. That equivalent gravitational effect can also be explained in terms of intensity. This equivalent gravitational effect can also be explained in terms of potential, and it can also be expressed in terms of potential energy. So I repeat the fact, the whole mass of a solid sphere or hollow sphere can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass, and this assumption is valid only for those points which are on the surface or outside the surface. And the basis of this assumption is what? Equivalent gravitational effect. This assumption is not valid for internal points. If we have a point here inside, we cannot assume the whole mass at the center of the sphere as point mass. So remember, this assumption is valid only for points lying over the surface or outside the surface, not for internal points. This result is invalid or not valid for internal points. So for internal points, this result is not valid. Now let us apply this. This is earth, a solid sphere. Say this is point over the surface of a sphere, and this is point at a distance h above the surface of the earth. Now if we wish to find out force over this mass m which is placed over the surface of earth, well, what would be force? See, this whole mass can be taken at the center of the earth as mass, point mass m. This is point mass m over surface. Distance between them would be what? R. So force over this point mass m over surface would be what? G m1 m2, that is m into m upon what? R square. What is force over this point mass m at a distance h above the earth's surface? This force is going to be what? G m into m upon this distance. And what is this distance? This distance is going to be a distance between this point mass m and this m is what? R plus h. So the distance is what? R plus h whole square. This is force between this point mass and the whole earth. If we have a point over surface, well, the whole mass can be assumed to lie at its center as point mass. The value of gravitational potential for any point over surface would be what? Yeah, it would be what? G m by r square. And if the point is, yeah, 0.2 h distance above the surface, gravitational potential is going to be what? Sorry, gravitational field intensity is going to be what? G m by r plus h whole square. So this is acceleration due to gravity over surface. This point has a distance r. This point has a distance r plus h. So acceleration due to gravity, or say gravitational field intensity, is going to be G m by r plus h whole square. So for this point or point mass, the distance between this and this point is what? R plus h. And for the points over surface, the separation is what? Capital R. Likewise here, if it is point mass m, then the gravitational potential over surface is going to be what? Minus G m by r. And gravitational potential at distance h above the surface would be what? Yeah, it would be what? Minus G m upon r plus h. If we have point mass m over the surface of earth, then what is potential energy of point mass over its surface? It would be minus G m by r. And if we have a point mass over the surface of earth, above the earth's surface, Yeah, the potential energy is going to be what? Minus G m upon r plus h. See, after this assumption, we are able to write down force over the surface of sphere over any point mass. We are able to write down acceleration due to gravity over surface. We are able to write down gravitational potential. We are able to write down the potential energy of any mass over surface. And also we can write down force, acceleration due to gravity, potential and potential energy at this point. So we'll continue beyond this point. And what is the next topic? That is variation of acceleration due to gravity. Variation of acceleration due to gravity of Earth due to its shape. Well, children, our Earth is not a perfect sphere. Well, the technical name of the shape of the Earth is obloid, O-B-L-O-I-D. It is also called as spheroid. What is this obloid or spheroid? You take a sphere and then compress it, push it from the top. If it is a soft sphere, if you compress it from the top, it will be converted into what? A spheroid. Since childhood, you have been knowing that the shape of the Earth is just like an apple, an orange. So that these apple and orange are nearly what? An obloid. And what is there in obloid? Well, you know, this is equator, this is pole, these are poles, north pole, this is south pole. You are familiar with this. Equatorial radius is maximum and polar radius is what? This distance is what? Minimum. So radius of the Earth is not a constant. Equatorial radius is maximum and polar radius is what? Minimum. And G, we have just seen that G over the surface of Earth is what? Gm by r square. That means G is what? G is inversely proportional to r square. Since over equator radius is maximum, therefore G over equator is what? Over equator is what? Minimum. And over pole r is minimum. Therefore G is what? Maximum. So G is maximum over pole and G is minimum over equator. This is variation of G due to its shape. Variation of acceleration due to gravity with height above the Earth's surface. Well, we have already studied a short while ago, G over the surface of Earth is Gm by r square. And as you move above the surface by distance h, G becomes Gm by r plus h whole square. This simply means G is inversely proportional to r square. R is the distance from center of Earth. So over the surface it is Gm by r square. At height h above the surface it is Gm by r plus h whole square. So what is G? G at height h is less than G over surface. So as we move above the surface, G varies inversely with square of distance. And we can also show that fractional decrease of G, fractional, this is decrease of G, this is original value of G. So this is fractional decrease of G, fractional change of G, and that is 2h upon r. We can prove it. How does G vary below the surface? Well, children, we have already studied that whole mass of the Earth can be assumed to lie over its center as point mass, but only for those points which are on the surface or outside the surface. But if we are going into the surface, that assumption is not valid. Well, if we move into the surface by distance h, suppose we move from surface to this point by distance h, so we cannot assume the whole mass of the Earth to lie at its center as point mass, because now we are inside the solid sphere. Now when we reach this point P, we are over this smaller sphere. The deeper we move into the Earth, we find ourselves seated upon smaller and smaller sphere. So as we moved inside the Earth by distance h, well, we are here, and when we are here, we are over the surface of this smaller sphere. And if the mass of this smaller sphere is what? M dash. If the mass of this smaller sphere is M dash, then this mass M dash can be assumed to lie as point mass here for this point, because this point P is an external point for this particular smaller sphere. If this smaller sphere has mass m dash, then acceleration due to gravity over its surface, that is at this point, would be what? That would be g m dash by r square. Remember, r is its what? Radius, which is less than capital R. So for this smaller mass, this point P is external point. Again we can apply the same assumption, but for this smaller sphere, not for the whole earth. So the acceleration due to gravity at this distance h below the earth's surface would be what? G m dash by r square. What is value of g over the surface of earth? Yeah, that is g m by r square. What is mass? Mass of the earth is nothing but density into volume of the, this is total mass of the earth, and that total mass of the earth is going to be what? Density of the material of earth into what? Total volume of the sphere earth. So we can write it as what? M is what? Rho, density into volume of the sphere earth upon r square. You can see that r square, r cube cancels out. What do we get? We get g over the surface of earth as what? 4 pi g rho by 3 times r. This is the value of g over the surface of earth. But as we move inside, the value of g becomes what? G m dash by r square. M dash is the mass of this smaller sphere. What is that m dash? That m dash is going to be what? Density of the material of earth into this volume. Mass of this volume is going to be what? Mass of this volume of the material of the earth. This is a part of the earth. And its volume is going to be what? 4 pi by 3 r cube. And if you multiply this volume with density, we get what? Mass of this part of the earth. And if we substitute this mass here, m dash is what? Rho into 4 pi by 3 r cube upon r square. This r square cancels out, this is r cube. R square, r cube cancels out. What do we get? 4 pi g rho by 3 times r. This is the value of g at distance h below the earth's surface. And what can we see is what? G is directly proportional to r, g is directly proportional to r, g is directly proportional to r. This is the law which holds true as we move into the earth's surface with regard to the variation of g. As we move into the earth, the deeper we move into the earth, yes, smaller becomes the value of r. As we move into the earth, the value of r decreases. As r decreases, the value of acceleration due to gravity also decreases. And when we reach center, this r becomes 0. So what happens to acceleration due to gravity? Acceleration due to gravity at the center of earth becomes 0. We can also show the variation of g as we move into the earth's surface, and we can very easily prove this result. Fractional decrease of g as we move into the earth's surface is what? H upon r. See here the fractional decrease. As we move above the earth's surface, the fractional decrease is what? 2h upon r. As we move into the earth's surface, fractional decrease of g is what? H upon r. That means fractional decrease as we move above the earth's surface is twice for the same distance as compared to fractional decrease inside the earth. Fractional decrease above the surface is 2h upon r. Fractional decrease into the earth's surface is h upon r. Okay, how does this g vary? Let us combine the two results. We have just understood that as we move above the earth's surface, the value of g decreases. As we move into the earth's surface, the value of g decreases. But what is the difference between the two decreases? That difference we have already written, but I am going to show here graphically. Over the surface of earth, value of g is what? Yeah, value of g is maximum. Yeah, this is maximum where? Over the surface of earth. And as we move over the surface, the value of g decreases inversely with square of distance. G varies inversely with square of distance from center of earth. But as we move into the earth's surface, value of g is directly proportional to r. That means the value of g varies directly with distance. G is directly proportional to r. As we move into the earth's surface, value of g decreases directly with distance, and as we move above the earth's surface, g decreases inversely with the square of distance. So this is a straight line graph, and this is a curve, rectangular hyperbola like this. G is inversely proportional to r square, and right at the center, value of g becomes 0. Okay children, let us finally see the effect of rotation of earth over acceleration due to gravity. Children, we know that earth, ever since earth came into existence some 46 million years ago, Well, it has been spinning from west to east with a fixed time period. And what is that? 24 hour with a fixed angular velocity. So our Earth has been spinning from west to east with a constant angular velocity omega. That means our Earth is what? That means our Earth is a non-inertial frame. It is spinning, and because of spin, the motion is what? Rotational. And since the motion is rotational, the motion is always accelerated. So strictly speaking, our Earth is a non-inertial frame. And if we are sitting over the Earth's surface, moving on, say spinning on the circular path, what will happen? It is spinning. If the Earth is spinning and you are sitting on the surface of Earth, what will happen? You would experience a pseudo force, and that pseudo force is what is called as centrifugal force. If you are sitting over a platform and platform starts rotating, what will happen? Your motion is accelerated. There is acceleration which is centripetal acceleration. But as the platform rotates, yes, that centripetal acceleration which is toward the center has its reaction radially outward. That reaction is called as centrifugal acceleration. When an object moves on circular path, it is always acted upon by what? Centripetal force. And every centripetal force has its reaction force, pseudo force, and that is called as centrifugal force. Since Earth is spinning with the fixed time period of 24 hours, so every constituent of the Earth is also moving on the circular path along with Earth with the fixed time period of 24 hours. So we all are acted upon by what? A centrifugal force. Let us look at the situation at the equator. If this is mass lying over the equator, with the rotation of Earth, this mass is also moving on the circular path of radius 6,400 km with the angular velocity omega. Therefore, the centrifugal force acting over this mass is what? mr omega square. And the force acting over this mass towards center is mg, its weight, true weight. So what is the net force acting over mass? Well, net force acting over this mass at the equator is mg minus mr omega square. And that net weight is called as apparent weight. Apparent weight is equal to true weight mg minus centrifugal force mr omega square. This apparent weight can be written as m into g dash. This is mg and this is mr omega square. You can see that m cancels out. What do we get g dash as? We get g dash as g minus r omega square. And this g dash is very slightly less than g. Why? Because this r omega square is very, very small. And we do not feel it. Why? Because we are born and brought up experiencing this force. And this force, this pseudo acceleration which is acting upon us is very, very small. Its effect over our weight is negligible. But it is not zero. It is always there. So value of g is very slightly less than value of g due to rotation of Earth everywhere on the surface is very slightly less than the true value of g. And if the Earth stops rotating, what will happen? The g would increase everywhere very slightly and would become equal to its true value of g. Remember, this variation of g due to rotation doesn't take place over poles. It takes place maximum over equator, and the effect of rotation goes on decreasing as you move from equator to poles. So if Earth stops rotating, acceleration due to gravity would increase very slightly everywhere on the Earth's surface except over poles. And one very interesting result, let me tell you, if the Earth starts rotating with a time period of say nearly 84 minutes, if the Earth starts rotating or spinning, not rotating, spinning, if the Earth starts spinning with a time period of 84 minutes, not 24 hours, 84 minutes, then what will happen? This centrifugal force would be same as weight of the body. That means the person over equator would be in the state of weightlessness. This is something very interesting. You can also work out this result. So if Earth starts spinning with a time time period of 84 minutes. In that case, the people over equator would be in the state of weightlessness. So children, with this we come to the end of our class today. We will continue gravitation in the next class. Until we meet again, goodbye.